సంగీతంలో 17 ఏళ్ల భారతీయ అమెరికన్ యువకుడు నీల్ నయ్యర్ రెండు ప్రపంచ రికార్డులను బద్దలు కొట్టాడు. సంగీతంతో మ్యూజిక్ లవర్స్ ను పరవశింపచేసే టీనేజర్ నీల్ నయ్యర్ జూనియర్ గ్రామీ అకాడమీలో చోటు సంపాదించాడు. యూత్ ఆడియన్స్ లో మంచి క్రేజ్ ను సంపాదించిన ఆయన తన లైఫ్ జర్నీతో పాటు 117 సంగీత వాయిద్యాలతో ప్రావీణ్యం ఎలా సంపాదించాడో వివరించారు.
So Neil, at what age your musical journey started as a child?
So my musical journey started at the age of 6, when my parents, they took me to a free drum class in music school. And after that, my parents saw that I had something in me. So my parents gave me instruments like guitar, piano, flute, and saxophone. And after that, I made my very first world record for playing 44 musical instruments in 2017.
Neil, talk about your world records. You have entered into 2 records, and can you talk more about your records and what was the record for and in which year?
Yes, so the first record I made was for playing 44 musical instruments in 2017 by the Assist World Records Foundation.
So 44 musical instruments, and how long did it take, and what was the record, and where did it happen?
So this record took me around 2 or 3 years because I had to buy all these instruments and it took a lot of expense. And as I mentioned, Assist World Records accepted my record for playing the most instruments. And how I did it, I had to record a video of me playing 44 musical instruments.
So you have any mentor who guided you in doing this record?
Yes, I actually I have like over 130 teachers who have taught me musical instruments so far.
So among 130 musical teachers, who's your most favorite?
I would say all of them.
But always you have, as a student, we have our favoritism, right? So a couple of teachers who are most favorite, and you want to recognize them here right on the screen?
That's a hard question to say, but I'll just say shout out to my teachers. Let's say one is Purbin Chatterjee, Amit Chobe, who's my tabla teacher, and Purbin Chatterjee is my sitar teacher.
Let's talk about your second world record.
Yes, so my second world record was for playing over 107 musical instruments at the age of 13 in 2019. And that was again by the Assist World Records Foundation.
Can you repeat how many instruments?
107 instruments.
107 musical instruments. And can you explain a little bit about the record and what inspired you to do this record?
Well, after making my first record for playing over 44 musical instruments, I said how about I break my own world record? So then I took that risk. It costed a lot of expense again, but I was able to make that happen. So yeah, it was a great feeling, and I'm so proud of.
So usually in Indian families, the parents focus more on academics. So how did you cope up with your musical journey, and was it difficult to convince your parents to take this direction? We are in Silicon Valley here, and every parent I meet, they want their children to start a startup or be an engineer or maybe a doctor surgeon. So how was your journey as a teenager? Was it very difficult to convince your parents?
So it was not that difficult because at the age of 6, when I was playing the drums like an old pro at the music school, at that part, my parents saw something in me, and they saw that I had something which I can do with music. So at that time, they said, just follow your path and do what you love. And also, one thing I want to say to all the parents and students. So parents, please do not force your kids to become doctor or engineers or something like that. Let them find their path, let them see what they like and what they want to do in their future life.
Neil, among 107 instruments you played and created a world record, which one is one of your most favorite? I'm sure there are more, but which is the most, which is you like to play all the time?
I think the 2 favorite instruments that I have are the sitar and the saxophone. But beyond that, all of them are my favorite. And also it depends because, I go to events and sometimes they say, oh, it's like an Indian festival and they want Indian instruments, or Chinese festival, they want Chinese instruments, or Arabic instruments, so it depends.
Yeah, so the sitar is one of your favorite?
Yes.
So, Neil, among 107 instruments you played and created a world record, which one is your most favorite and what are you going to play for our viewers today?
So I think my most favorite instrument would be the sitar and saxophone. But beyond that, all the instruments that I have are my favorite. And also it depends on which events I'm like invited. You know, like if it's like an Indian festival, I would play Indian instruments. Chinese festival, Chinese instruments. Arabic festival, Arabic instruments. So it depends.
Yeah, so what are you playing today with sitar?
So I'll be playing Rag Yaman on the sitar.
Okay, let's go for it. So the Indian sitar looks very different, and this is, totally looks like a different instrument. Can you speak about this sitar?
Of course. So this sitar was custom made in India, and it took around a few months to make this. And of course, it's a good-looking sitar. Another thing is that this sitar is not an acoustic sitar. This is an electric sitar. So in this case, I can connect my cable here, and I can like add any effects I want.
From being a musician to writing books, and how did the journey of writing as an author started?
Well, this started after I made my second world record, and I was like, one time I was like performing at the performance. It was like an Indian festival, and people would come to me, ask me like, "What is this Indian instrument? I never heard this Indian instrument before." I'm like, "What, really?" In this case, I said, "How about I create a book with all the 107 instruments?" In this case, now people can just read it. So in this case, I wrote this book called "Passion to Exploration of 107 Sound Machines," and this book has featured all 107 instruments. I made this for kids, teenagers, and adults. And after reading this book, they will have a knowledge of all the 107 instruments.
So we've been to Arizona last time in the last summer, and I've attended one of the, in Arizona, in Phoenix, there is one of the museums which has the world record instruments. Have you been there?
I have not been there, but I saw like the pictures. It's like all instruments, from around the world.
From around the world, from different countries, and they have a different zones for each country instruments.
Yes, correct.
So music is your passion, and are you playing music for passion, or you want to take it as a career in the long journey?
I would say as a career and as a future in my life, because music is like music connects with me, so that's why I want to use it as a career. And plus I'm also composing music for short films. And actually I mentioned, if you didn't know, I was featured on 2 Honda commercials, and I also composing music for both commercials. And about my short films, I finished 2 recently. The first one was Beyond the Door, which was filmed in Reno, and it is a thriller film. And another one I finished was called Last Date, which was also filmed in Reno again, and it is also which talks about 2 serial killers.
Let's talk about movies. How did you get there? Getting into movies, was it difficult, or the music took you to the movies, or you plan to be an actor as well? The next, you're a musician, you're an author. So what's next for Neil Nayyar?
So after I made my record, I said I want to create music for film. So then that's where I came into film composition. So in this case, I wanted to become a composer and do for films. So then I started working on a shoot project which I mentioned already, Last Date and Beyond the Door. Another one I'm working on is called Lottery, and it is a full feature film, 1 hour long. And actually, this film is directed by the sister of a Bollywood star, Abhi. And another
Is it going to be in Hindi?
Yes, I think it will be in Hindi and English, both.
Okay, multiple languages.
Correct, multiple languages. There are a lot of things which I miss out. I mostly actually think that I think the thing is that I practice music 6 hours a day continuously, like no distractions, like no phones, no video games, nothing. Just music focus 6 hours a day. And yes, I do miss out things a lot. I don't go outside pretty much. I just mostly focus. But the thing is that when you work hard and work smartly, you'll reach somewhere. As there's a saying that if you work hard in life, you'll have an easy life ahead. But if you work easy life in the beginning, then you'll have a hard life ahead.
So let's talk about your favorite dish. What's your favorite dish?
I think my favorite dish, I think will be Indian dish. Like we have white chole, black chole, rajma. What else? Bhindi, aloo sabji, dal.
Everything Indian.
Everything Indian, yes.
Neil, my last question to you is for the budding and aspiring children who want to get into the music industry. So what advice can you give?
So I think the advice I'll give to to the kids who are starting to learn music is that and also for the parents. So if your kid is interested in learning is interested into learning music, take them to like a music shop, like any music shop locally, and take them over there and let the kids explore the instruments. And if they find an instrument that they like, if you cannot afford that instrument, you can buy a used one or you can rent an instrument. And then after that, take your kids to a music school. There are like lots of music schools which give like one free music lesson. So let them take the lesson, and if they like the school and like the instrument that they have, then they are ready to begin their journey in music.
Thank you, Neil, for being on our show, and it was pleasure having a conversation with you.
Yes, and also a big thanks to Sakshi TV for doing this interview, and thank you.